Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J Dawg.
Mike, what is up? It's the first time in a while I've been able to talk to you because our group thread has been hijacked by the Bitcoin bros.
It has. Bitcoin has been taken over. Now, you know when everybody's talking about Bitcoin, it's like time to sell your Bitcoin because everybody's into it. So when I was into Bitcoin, guess what? No one wanted to talk about it. Now everybody's into it. Now you know it's like it's oversaturated. So once there's a big pop, everybody's going to be out. It's going to drop to like 20K, and then people are like, I lost all my money. So,
by the dips, just a note to our listeners, if your friends hijack your thread, you can say something to them. Unlike anyone in our thread, we're just letting it happen. We're just letting hundreds of text messages about Bitcoin advice take over a group of, there's 8 to 10 of us. Only a few care about Bitcoin. Not everyone cares.
I would say 2 out of the 10 actually care about it.
That could have been my J Dawg takes on, but I have a real one coming up. Also about Bitcoin. Well, that's a tease for later in the show. There's a lot going on. Listen, we have to update the people on our picks from last week for the playoffs, the NFL playoffs, the draft that we had. There's a bunch of great games, Mike. We had 6 games over the weekend. Most of them were close. It was a lot. The place I want to start, a Sportstradamus update. You know, you tell me.
I was going to look for a sound. I have no sound for Sportstradamus, but tell me what your update is because I have one too.
Okay, good. I'm glad you have an update. My update is you are trying to take my throne of Sportstradamus and the king of sports predictions. And I'm aware of this, and I'm aware of being a little bit off my game. Okay. I want to take you back a few weeks ago when I said exclusively on the Sports Hangover that the Steelers were the softest 11-0 team in NFL history, because I'm pretty sure that one was exactly right.
Yes, you were exactly right on that. I lost all my gambling this weekend because of the Steelers. Honestly, everything pointed to the right direction of like the Browns will not beat the Steelers because everybody has COVID. None of the coaches there, nothing. All of a sudden, Baker Mayfield's like the greatest quarterback of all time, whipping it up, and Big Ben is just like depressed and old and like, sorry guys, like lost the game.
Crying after the game. I mean, is he done?
I mean, he could be, right? Like this looks like it was pretty tough for him. They had a great ride, but it was weird because it's almost like they were the team that was so hot at the beginning and then died like the last 5 games. And that was the tough part. You saw the decline and no one bought it. It's like, oh yeah, no big deal. Like they're fine. They're going to the playoffs. No big deal.
So are you mad at yourself? Because last week, in case you didn't listen, yes, you are. You went heavy Steelers money line. Like in all your bets, you're like Steelers money line. You don't get like a big return on it, but it's Steelers and Bills guaranteed wins. And you're right about the Bills, even though you had to sweat that out. I thought it might be close, and it was. We'll get to that. But you put all your money on the Steelers money line, and the first snap of the game goes over Ben's head for a touchdown, and it's like you had to know 9 seconds into the game that this wasn't what you were hoping for.
I'm just glad I'm not our mutual friend who's a big Steelers fan, who I actually haven't heard from since that day. So I don't know if he's okay.
You didn't do a wellness check? We like you to drive over and make sure he's alive.
No wellness checks. He did have the COVID, so still staying pretty far away. So he's really in a tough situation right now. But it's a weird spot that this team was on top and just dropped. And I was disappointed. I was disappointed in the Steelers. I was disappointed in myself for not seeing the writing on the wall from Sportstradamus himself telling me that this was going to happen. I didn't listen. That's my fault.
It's tough because the Browns, we thought without their head coach would be bad, but it turns out they were just fired up, and you never know how these things will go. Like often, Mike, if I tell you how ugly you are, you're going to come out looking so good because you're going to try extra hard to look good. And that's what the Browns did. All week, people were telling them, you're going to lose. You don't have your coach. You don't have your cornerback. You don't have your guard. You haven't been in the playoffs in 17 years. And they said, F everybody. I'm going to go out there and beat the Steelers. And it was an ass whooping. It really was.
Well, what blew my mind is it's like, why didn't the Steelers try the week before, right? Couldn't they have technically kicked them out of the playoffs by winning that game? Why not play Big Ben? Why not keep him in the
Dolphins would have made it instead. They could have played the Dolphins.
I know. So it blows my mind. This is all the Steelers' faults. They only can blame themselves. And I know we're going to talk about this week's games. Probably not going to be gambling on it, but I have one bet that I'm
out of money.
I'm done. I'm out of the pool. But also, can I update you on my Sportstradamus?
Yeah.
What is happening in my world? This has a little to do with NBA.
NBA news.
It's a big one, Jeremy.
It's now, big. I couldn't let you lead with NBA. I know you'd love to lead our shows with it.
You love the NBA one, but finally, James Harden has been traded. And if you listen to my Sportstradamus prediction from last year in 2020, I said the Brooklyn Nets will win the NBA championship. And this is one more piece to add that this is one reason why I think they're going to win it now. James Harden is officially a Brooklyn Net. He's getting traded. Now this trade, I have it in front of me. It's like a 5-team trade. I don't know. I don't understand these trades. I don't know how 5 teams get all these different picks. I don't know how it works. I've never seen this in the NFL. I've never seen it in the NHL. Do you want me to go over this trade real quick to see how James Harden got from the Rockets to the Nets? So the Nets get James Harden. The Rockets get Oladipo, Exum. They get like 4 players, 3 Brooklyn's first-round picks, 4 Brooklyn first-round swaps. The Pacers get a second-round pick and a player, and the Cavs get 2 players.
Wow.
And then somehow they all end up in certain situations. I don't know how it works. So here they are. So James Harden is a net. That was my point. They are going to win the championship this year now.
You might be right. I mean, they're going to play someone from the West who's going to be really good. Probably LeBron, maybe Kawhi. It's going to be a good opponent. So who's on the Nets now? Let's talk about it. It's James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, correct?
Correct, Jeremy. You are an NBA pro.
Yeah, I can name 3 Nets, which is pretty impressive.
You're good. That's
so now that we know the Brooklyn Nets are the super team of the East, there's a few super teams in the West. Who can knock them off? Like Giannis in Milwaukee, he's kind of like done. He signed the new contract, and it's like you can't compete with what Brooklyn's doing.
I think if they can get it together, I think Brooklyn's the team to beat right now. Why not? They're going to go to the playoffs. They could definitely beat LeBron, but I don't know. LeBron looks good. I haven't watched a lot of basketball, but I'm excited about this. And I think this is really big. I think this is.
But are you concerned, Mike, as someone who's put on weight in your life and then you've taken it off, but you have put on weight in the past? James Harden's in a fat phase, and we've all had fat phases, but that man is in the phase.
I think he just let himself go. Now, I saw a clip the other night when he was just like warming up, and one of the announcers was like, "Oh, yeah, he definitely had a cheeseburger before the game tonight." he bulked up a little. He started not to care. I think he pouted a little bit too much to get out of this team. And I don't know if this is going to hurt the rest of the players or superstars potentially in the future, because we talked about this before. I think they're getting a little too much power, and I'm all about player power, but this is like a crybaby way of getting what you want. And listen, it worked out for him. Not everybody in the league can do this. I don't think some random Magic player can crybaby their way out of the Orlando Magic. But if you're a superstar, you can do it. And now it seems like this is what you do. It's like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm not going to play. I'm going to get fat, and I'm going to pout on the sidelines and fight people in the locker room.
And if you don't like it, blame LeBron, because he started it when he went to Miami. And I'll always hold that against him, no matter how many championships he wins.
I will say, though, what LeBron did was different because his contract was up. So James Harden's contract was not up. So this is the difference. Like, James Harden literally pushed himself out. Like, get me out of here. So a little different, but we'll see what happens.
The thing I'll say about Harden in Brooklyn is he's 31 years old. And as someone who's crossed that threshold, taking off the excess weight that you just happen to put on during an extended break is not easy to do, because I'm still trying to work off my COVID weight, and it's not happening. And you can attest to that too.
I didn't actually gain much COVID weight. I think I lost a lot of muscle weight. So
you've been eating carbs. I know you have.
Oh, I have definitely been eating carbs. It's definitely been a different lifestyle. But it's harder when, I built a gym. So now I have a gym in the garage. I just actually finished up in the gym before this. So you got to work out.
You have a little glow. Mike's glowing on our live Facebook and YouTube page. One more Sportsodamus update. Okay. You mentioned it, and I don't know if you want to go down this road, but we're just going to step down this road, and you take it as far as you want.
Oh, okay.
You said over a year ago now, in our Sportsodamus show previewing 2020, that Mike Pence would be president of the U.S. after Trump gets impeached again. Not only did you nail the Trump impeachment, we're like 50-50 right now. If Mitch McConnell, not to get too deep here, but if Mitch McConnell wants to swing the Senate and close the door on Trump forever, it's possible that Pence will take over for a day or two before Biden. So I wanted to give you a shout out for that.
This is great. I mean, it's really sealing the deal on the
Sportsodamus. That was your response to a democracy crumbling around us. This is great.
I don't know what to say anymore. Trump really kind of went over the line, and a lot of shit is wild. There's just so much political stuff, like getting kicked off networks, people shutting down servers for like Parler, like I don't know what's going on, but whatever that has to do, Trump made a bad decision, and now people are taking charge and making decisions for him. And listen, now the only thing he has to do is go on TV. Did you see him the other night? He was actually on TV reading a script for the first time in his presidency, I think. Did you see him?
Yeah. Teleprompter Trump. He pops up every so often and he says something appropriate.
Well, now he doesn't have Twitter. So now he needs the TV to like go out there and say some shit. I have a BDE real quick. I just want to shout out.
Nice. Me too.
Big Dick Energy winner of the week.
Jeremy. So it says /Sportstradamus, but I'm going to give the BDE award to you, Jeremy. Years and years and years ago, you've been calling this, okay? Years ago, youth football. No one wants to play football. Stats this weekend, guess what? They put the NFL on Nickelodeon. It drew 2 million viewers on the Bears-Saints game over the weekend. It's their most watched program in 4 years. And their whole ploy behind it was because youth football participation has been declining for so many years. And they're like, this has got to stop. Let's go get those kids. Let's slime some NFL players and get people back on the NFL, Jeremy. You called the decline of the NFL, or maybe the cancellation of the NFL from years from now. Not obviously this soon, but years from now. And this is the point where if they don't get these kids now, there might not be an NFL in 20 years.
Thank you for calling that out. We know, Mike, the NFL is in trouble because kids aren't going to grow up playing football. They're playing everything else. Like I'm kind of like a kid. I'm going out to play tennis. I'm not going out to play football after the show. You're playing golf. You're not playing football, right? So that's one of the ways to look at it. I thought the Nickelodeon broadcast was cool. I popped it on for a minute. They're doing slime in the end zone, like lasers around the football as it's downfield. They actually dumped slime on Sean Payton after the game. I thought it was a good idea. Like you said, the most watched thing on Nickelodeon in a long time. And I think the NFL should continue to branch out these different ways. There's games all over the place. There was Amazon, there was Peacock, there was games on every streaming and every network last week.
What did you think of the ESPN multi-broadcast on the other channel where it was like everybody that's ever been on Monday Night Football in the reject booth replaying the game? I thought it was like kind of interesting. But then it got kind of annoying because after every play, they'd rewind the play and then watch it and be like, oh, yeah. It kind of got repetitive after a while. It was like novel for the first 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, I don't need to see Keyshawn Johnson keep telling me about this great play that they made. Like, let me watch the game. Because they had 4 different boxes. Kind of fun, but nothing.
I laughed when you texted me about that because they've been doing that on the college football national championship game for 5 years. So it was the first time they brought it to the NFL, and it was pretty cool. There's film room option. There's like the sky cam option. Yeah. A lot of times, I don't know if they had it for the NFL game. They have like the home team announcers, like the home broadcast. So maybe like the Ravens and the Titans announcers, like doing a homer broadcast. It's fine because it all adds up to their rating of the game, and it's like 5 networks. Channels. Yeah. Right. So I think it's a fine idea. It's a lot of money and a lot of production value for a Titans Ravens first round playoff game.
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, if it was on this weekend, I might watch it. Who knows? I would rather watch the Nickelodeon one, a little different, but it was good. Are they going to do Nickelodeon again? I had no idea they were doing Nickelodeon.
They might. The only reason it worked this time is because CBS and Nickelodeon are in the Viacom family, so they were able to simulcast. And it all worked out, but we'll see if that happens down the road. My big dick energy, Mike, is a guy who finished number 3 in NFL jersey sales this year. And first, I want you to kind of take a guess at who that might be after the Patrick Mahomeses of the world. But there's a man who finished number 3 in jersey sales, obviously very popular. And he's just getting a really bad rap right now. And I want to stand up for him. I just want to see if you want to guess who that is.
I mean, I'm gonna throw it out there and say it's your boy Tua.
It is. Thank you for saying that. So number 3, the Dolphins haven't had a guy in the top 20 of jersey sales in such a long time. And he's number 3. Mm-hmm. He also had a better rookie season than Josh Allen did. He had a better rookie season than Cam Newton is, your boy Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. So I want the hate on Tua to stop. I want the trade speculation with Deshaun Watson to stop. He's not going to Houston. We're going to keep building around Tua. We're going to add playmakers in Miami, and we're going to keep the guy in the top 5 of jersey sales for a very long time.
So I had a bullshit or believe around that. It's like the potential of Tua bullshit or believe, is he going to get traded to Houston? Because last week, I think we mentioned it a little bit, but this week it seemed like it might have been more real than we thought because Deshaun wants out. And this seems like a great spot because Miami has a ton of first round picks that could just trade him over. Wouldn't you want this? Wouldn't you want Deshaun? You love Deshaun. I literally 5 years ago, we were in Vegas. You're like, they're going to the Super Bowl. You wanted them to go to the Super Bowl. You want them to be good. And now you're going to get their best player on your team. I mean, it would be
I love
great.
Deshaun Watson. You're right. He is the number 2 quarterback in the NFL for the future. I think it's Mahomes 1, Watson 2. Once you get rid of the Rodgers generation, those are the 2 guys at the top, and then everyone else follows behind. I'm also a fan of a plan. I want a plan, and the Dolphins have been working on a plan for years, and they're hoarding money for free agency. They're hoarding draft picks so they all hit at the right time, and that right time is coming up. And if you give away so many of those resources now, Mike, just for Watson, just for one guy, what if Tua is a Watson? What if he's one notch below Watson? You can keep all those picks. Yeah. We need to see more of Tua. I'm not ready to bail on the guy yet.
But don't you think we know if he's not, because like Joe Burrow and Herbert were like, they kind of impressed us. Even what's his name, the backup for the Rams. Like I was kind of impressed by him. I would watch him play, and also
for a minute, yeah,
he was like, he wasn't bad. He was a little scrappy guy. But I just think my other thought was, will these guys last as long as the Rodgers or the Bradys, because they're much more mobile quarterbacks? Because we haven't seen mobile quarterbacks last this long. Like RG3, I feel like was the first big guy that came in that just like only lasted 2 years. Are Mahomes and Deshaun going to last as long because they're a little bit more scrambly, a little bit, they might lose that edge after a little while. As you know, once you hit 30, it's all
I think
downhill.
scrambling and being mobile as a quarterback is the modern NFL. Tom Brady is not going to win this game against the Saints because he can't move around the pocket. That's one of the reasons that is going away. Very few, like look at Burrow and Herbert and Tua will eventually be a better scrambler. The guy's still 14 months removed from serious hip surgery. It's like he almost like lost blood flow to his hip. That's serious shit. I just wanted to share these stats. Josh Allen's rookie year, he had 6 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Tua, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Okay.
Josh Allen's rookie year had 1,500 passing yards. Tua had 1,800 passing yards. Can we not compare him to the epic seasons of Burrow and Herbert for a minute and just say he's a rookie coming off serious hip surgery?
Okay, hey,
give him some fast receivers and see what happens.
I'm not hating your boy, Jeremy. I'm just trying to say there might be a better option out there that could win you a Super Bowl today. And I did say Dolphins might win a Super Bowl within 10 years.
You did. It's a fun rebuild. I just want people to know that are watching. We have tons of visual viewers too. It's getting dark where I am. It's 5:40 p.m. in Florida, and I don't have a light, and it's just going to continue getting darker. And soon enough, it'll be the outline of myself.
Do you want to do best bets, or do you want to go over our bets from last week first, and then jump into some best bets?
Yeah, I think we should recap that. So we did the draft last week. It was a snake draft. You would look at the results, and you might think like Jeremy had all the good picks, but he didn't. It was actually a back and forth. So still remaining, Mike. Still remaining. I have the Packers, the Chiefs. They haven't even played yet. I have both of those. Mm-hmm. The Saints and the Ravens picked up some nice wins on Sunday. And I also have the Browns and the Rams, a few upset teams that went on the road and pulled some upsets, and they both have some really tough matchups against the Chiefs and Packers this week. Who do you have left, Mike?
Literally nobody. I have the Bucks, I have the Bills, and that's it. Right.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
You have 2 of the 8 teams left after just 1 week. It always happens this way. One of us is always like way behind. And this time it's you, thankfully, because we did bet on a Bitcoin. Like the winner gets a whole Bitcoin.
No,
$42,000?
They're way too much right now.
No, we get one share of GBTC. That's a different story.
Yes.
Mike, do you still feel confident you can win this with the Bills or Bucks winning the Super Bowl?
Listen, if the Bills are who I think they are, and I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, I'm hoping I just hold on to them. I think they can do it this week. Who are they playing this week? They're playing the Ravens, right?
That's a tough game, right? It's a night game. Lamar's been on one. I told you, ever since he went to poop and came back and Supermaned that game against the Browns like a month ago, he's been on another level.
I mean, obviously the odds are in your favor. You might win this year. This year I didn't do so well. I didn't plan it out. I should have just taken one of the teams on a bye. Would have been smart of me taking a bye team. I don't know what happened to the Seahawks. I don't believe in the Rams at all. Like I don't think they're
the Seahawks were your second pick after the Bills.
Yeah, well, I thought they were good, but they didn't let us.
They're so broken. Both the Steelers and Seahawks. 2 of your picks have fired their offensive coordinator. I would have too. Game.
I would have definitely fired my offense coordinator when you had Russell Wilson and he just run the ball the whole time with some backup schmucks that no one really, you can't even run. So
before we get to best bets, let's talk about Russ. You're talking about Russ is cooking. You're a big Seahawks fan. You love Seattle for like 3 different reasons. Mm-hmm. Tell me, Mike, what happened? Why didn't Russ cook?
Russ didn't cook because they didn't let him cook. They started throwing the ball, obviously, within like the last 5 minutes of the game. That always happens. They like that drama. I don't know what their game plan was. I thought maybe they thought the backup was going to be in, right? Like, oh, this backup's going to be in. Let's change the game plan a little bit. Let's conserve like the throwing and try to run the game and really control the clock. That's what I thought going in. Like, oh, that makes sense. But then all of a sudden, Jared Goff comes in and he's like good with a broken thumb. So I don't know what was going on.
He wasn't good, right? He was adequate.
He was good enough to beat the Seahawks, and Russell Wilson didn't have the opportunity to do it, and they didn't have a good game plan. So I think it's good that they fired their offensive.
All right, let's get to best bets. You're not betting with real money this week, but if people out there still have real money, these are the bets to make.
Yeah, do the opposite. All right, this week, listen, I'm gonna throw it out there right away. I'm taking all the favorites. I'm not bullshitting around this time. None of these underdogs are gonna win. Rams at Green Bay. I'm taking Green Bay here. Take the money line. I still like them plus -7 here. I know the Rams have a great defense. I'm hoping it's going to be really fucking cold in Green Bay. I haven't checked the weather. I'm hoping it's cold. I'm hoping it's like rainy. Jared Goff is not prepared for that. That backup quarterback, you better believe he's not coming back from that hit to his head where squashed his brain cells back into his head. And I think their backup quarterback in LA is Blake Bortles. So if Blake Bortles comes in, you know the game is over. I'm taking Green Bay. What do you think?
The Rams defense has been so good. I would not be surprised if Aaron Rodgers had trouble with them. I think that Devontae Adams, Jalen Ramsey matchup might be like the best of the weekend to just keep your eye on that because that's super fun, like best against best. It's amazing when you talk about the Rams, when they gave Goff so much money, like if they had someone different, like even much cheaper and different, they'd have a better chance to win than actually having Goff. Like the dude Wolford, whatever his name is, he was playing better than Goff.
He's great.
Like you were kind of inspired by him watching that game. So the Rams aren't going to win, but it could be like a 13-7 game. So the Rams could cover, and I would take the under too.
Okay. All right. I like the under. I could see that happening. Two defenses, Jared Goff not being able to move. Ravens at Bills. I'm taking Bills here -3. I have to take the Bills. I have to believe in the Bills because this is my last chance to hopefully make it to the next round in our playoff pool. I believe in the Bills. They didn't play great. I was not inspired by their play over the weekend. I was a little nervous. It was like, oh, okay, what are you guys doing here? It wasn't the best football I've seen. I'm hoping they step it up this week. I'm glad they played, though, because it's like the Chiefs, I'm worried, and Green Bay, I'm worried. Coming off that bye, I was worried that you're getting a little cold. Like, you're a little, like, hesitant at first, so that does scare me in the Green Bay game, but I like the Bills here. What do you think? I don't know.
They didn't put the Colts away by any means. The Colts were driving to win the game, and Philip Rivers has been in enough of those situations where you knew he'd be in position to win, and you also know he wouldn't win at the same time because that's who Philip Rivers is. I think the Bills-Ravens game is like the closest game of the weekend. I could see either team winning. I'd be wary to bet it either way. I think it's going to come down to like the last drive and will that quarterback make a play or not? I'm telling you, Lamar Jackson's been amazing. I know they were losing to the Titans early in that game. One of those runs, like he was sacked at the 50-yard line, except he like escaped one tackle and he weaved his way 50 yards. Like no matter what you plan for defensively, the guy can still get loose. I don't know who to pick here. I just think it's going to be a great game on NBC.
I think so too. Oh, it's on NBC. Okay. Browns at Chiefs. Chiefs are -9.5. I'm going Chiefs here. I think the attitude in the Browns locker room was way too excited. They were celebrating way too much to beat the Steelers.
That's not fair. A team can't celebrate after their first playoff appearance in 17 years and they won.
Listen, I don't think the attitude going into next week as this celebration, like you got past the wild card weekend, you shouldn't be celebrating. This should be like a grind, get it in. Guess what? I know my boy Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be celebrating like that in the locker room, doing like Corvette, all these videos in the locker room. God. So I just think that's the little karma's gonna come back. I think the Chiefs are gonna dominate them. They got no shot. So the Chiefs are gonna win this game.
For much different reasons, I think the Chiefs will dominate them because the Chiefs are the Chiefs and the Browns are a 7 seed in the playoffs, and they have no business going at the number 1 seed and winning the game. So the Chiefs and Mahomes should have a fine day, even though the Browns get their head coach back.
Tampa Bay at the Saints. I like the Saints -3. I don't think anybody's going to be in the stadium, but I just think overall the Saints have been playing better. Like it's weird. If you ever watch the games, it's weird how like the Bucks, either get off to a hot start or they're not very hot at first and then somehow get up to a lead. I don't know if the Saints are going to allow them to do this. And this Saints-Bears game was the weirdest game, like super low scoring. I didn't know what was going on. Like at one point, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe the Bears got a chance here. Like they seemed like they were in it because of the defense. I think Saints can do it here. This is the last time for Drew Brees, right? Tom Brady's coming back. He's coming back next year.
Yes, Breeze is not coming back. Brady is probably coming back. I agree. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Bucs. They were in a 5-point game with a losing team and a quarterback named Heineke. That makes no sense from last week. The Bucs are not a good team. They're average. The Saints are pretty elite. I expect Saints Packers to be the NFC Championship game, and that would be a nice matchup.
That would be nice. Real quick, I just have. I'm also gonna money line parlay all those just for my last hoorah of the gambling and then gamble in the Super Bowl. But I got a stat here. New Jersey sports bettors wagered $996 million in December. They gamble almost $1.5 million every hour in New Jersey. This is how big sports gambling has become. So a lot of sports bettors are doing it. And I think it's also when you're looking at the lines and the money, it's really getting pushed around now by a lot of public bettors because they have a lot more access to it. Like we're in a group. We not only talk about Bitcoin, we talk about gambling. And a lot of people are throwing money on just random sports to gamble on. Like somebody bet on baseball or what was it, basketball tonight and a little hockey, just to throw some money on. So it's a lot more accessible to a lot of people. And I think when you're looking at the lines, all this money could be public money. And I think sometimes people try to be, oh yeah, I got to get the value here. Sometimes it's better just to go with the favorites. And that's what I'm doing this weekend. So take the favorites.
I like it. And the states are making a lot of money on taxes from this. So pretty soon in this democratic country that we're heading into in 2021, there will be sports betting and a lot more things like that legalized across the board. Mike, it was a great show. It's dark where I am. I got to get out of here.
I know. All right. Check out thesportshangover.com. Follow us there. Follow us on Instagram at the Sports Hangover Podcast. And if we want to get the rest of Melissa's reviews, hopefully we are back next week.